Also, and I have said this before, how we need to check our spirit may before we go and reprove. Check our spirit. Check the motive behind why we're doing what we're doing. Because if you see yourself constantly going to this sister, reproving her, why do you always have to find reason to go to this sister to reprove her? Is this sister actually doing wrong? I mean, if you see yourself going to her more than one time, you may want to stop and check that. Why do I always find occasion to go to this sister all the time? Because a lot of times, you can go to somebody and reprove them, and they don't even know that you're reproving them. A lot of times, you can say things in a way that they don't even realize that you are correcting them. I mean, there are ways you can do it. There are ways you can do it. And also, and if someone comes to you and reproving you of a so-called wrong that you have done, you want to stop and see if before you just accept that person's correction, you may want to see what you actually doing was wrong. Now, if you were that you eating a pork chop sandwich, and your sister come to you saying you shouldn't be there, okay, now that, I mean, there's no need for you to reflect on that. But I'm saying, if you did something and you felt in your heart that you were led of Yah to do it, and you checked your spirit and you felt like you were led of Yah to do it, and then somebody gonna come to you and say, well, you shouldn't have done that, or you need to be careful on how you do that. Don't be so quick to say, oh, you're right. Because, sometimes that person coming to you, reproving you, so to speak, they may be the one that's in error, may be the one in error. So don't be so quick to and I had to learn this, not to be so quick to accept a person that's right when they come to correct me, because a lot of times they may not be right. They may not understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why you're doing what you're doing. So always reflect on that person's reproof. That's not being prideful. No, that's not being prideful. When somebody comes to you and reproof, and you don't think that you're wrong, and you just say, well, I have to, well, sister, I'm going to have to pray on this and think about this first, because I felt that I was led of Yah to do what I did. You can explain to them. That's not being prideful. That's being wise, because we don't want to accept faulty reproof. We don't want to accept faulty reproof, because see, we can be led of Yah, and if somebody say we're wrong, and then we go back on Yah what Yah told us to do. So we're at risk of facing Yah's wrath too when we do that. So yeah, it was wise not to be so quick to accept, reproof as well, if it's not righteous reproof. And also something else with the sisters, I know this is bad among Hebrew women, Hebrew sisters, especially in the quote-unquote religious settings. And when I say religious settings, I'm talking about the churches too. Because, before I became an Hebrew Israelite, I was in a Christian church. And this is bad among Hebrew sisters, where one sister wants to look more spiritual than the other sister. And she feel, well, if I, okay, how can I make myself look more spiritual, appear more spiritual than this other sister? And one way to do that is for them to try to tear down another sister, try to cut down another sister, to make her look, to make herself look to be more spiritual. So you also have to be careful that you are not reproving another sister for your own exaltation or your own empowerment. Because see, Yah sees that. Because the sister you're reproving, she might be just as wrong as two left shoes. But if your spirit is wrong and how you're going to reprove her, Yah will still count that against you. Because he see your spirit. Because see, it's the motive. The motive behind what you're doing says a lot. The motive behind what you're doing. You could be just as right as rain, but if your motive is wrong, Yah will still count that against you. Because see, Yah sees your heart. Yah sees all. Yah sees your heart. Yah knows the motive behind and the reason behind you do everything you do. That's where we have to check our spirit. It's very, very important. I can't stress that enough, for us to check our spirit. Because a lot of times, we may see a sister, she could be, and we know she's striving for righteousness. We know she's sincere about this word. But then you may feel, but then something in you want to cut this sister down to make her think, oh, you're not as righteous as you think you are, because you did such and such and such. And you just sit and wait and watch, see if you can catch that sister doing what you think is wrong, or catch her in a fault, and you can jump. so quickly because you want to see that wrong. Whether she could be wrong or she could not be wrong, but you're just quick to find occasion to accuse her, to for some reason you just want to cut her down to make her think, oh, it's you, and let her know, oh, you're not as righteous as you think you are. So that's why we have to be careful of our motives behind what we're doing, because a lot of times, and the reason why we want to do that, we want to cut another sister down because we know deep down in our heart that we feel inadequate in some kind of way, whatever way that is, but we feel inadequate. And when you can cut another sister down, to reprove her in some kind of way, that makes you feel better in some kind of way. But really, it's not. But it's not behooving you. It's not benefiting you spiritually. But it's some kind of way feeding something inside of you, trying to make up for your own inadequacy. And no, that's not a way to bring you closer to Yah. You don't get closer to Yah at someone else's expense. You don't get glory at someone. You shouldn't want to get glory at someone else's expense. So that's why I can't stress that enough among us sisters, because jealousy and rivalry is bad among women, and a lot of times, and the way to try to promote ourselves, exalt ourselves, we try to cut the other down, and that's wrong. We're not supposed to exalt ourselves that way. We're not supposed to exalt ourselves, period. We're supposed to be striving for righteousness, striving towards Yah, not exalting ourselves or to make ourselves look more righteous than another sister before the congregation. So I'm going to say this again. Check your motive before you take any action. Check your motive, because the motive behind what you're doing carries more weight than the act itself many of times, because Yah sees the heart. Yah is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. So I hope this lesson was a good, great benefit to you sisters, and I hope you take it to heart. And I'm giving this lesson in love, and that's my word. And I say, may Yah add His blessings to His word. Shalom. And once again, this is Kazaya Bat Yisrael of Israelite Heritage Women's Ministry, the blessed handmaidens of Yah and Yehoshua. Shalom, and may Yah bless.